price of Bitcoin has surged in the last 24 hours. And so in this video, we're going to look at what happened and why the sudden jump. Today's episode is sponsored by Cake Wallet, where you can send, receive, and even exchange your crypto right from within the wallet. Cake Wallet is open source and non-custodial, so you control your own private keys. Available today on iOS, macOS, Android, and Linux. Good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome back to Enter Crypto. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any future updates, as I release a new video every single day. Now, today we're going to be talking about Cointelegraph's article and, of course, what's happened in the last 24 hours, which is a massive jump in Bitcoin's price. So, as always, guys, we'll just quickly go through the article and then we'll comment after. So, the crypto community is jubilant over Grayscale's decision, but apparently some uncertainty remains. And this is about the court's decision that the SEC must now reconsider Grayscale's Bitcoin spot ETF. So this is not a futures ETF, it's a spot ETF application. And although this is good news, it might not be as impactful as some people in the crypto community would have hoped. So the crypto community received the decision it had been hoping for when the District of Columbia Circuit Court of Appeals ruled on Grayscale Investments' Bitcoin spot ETF application. The United States SEC's rejection of the application was overturned, and the decision was a slaughterfest of the SEC arguments. Sinim Hain Ventures founder Adam Cochran said on X, "This changes everything. It's time to pay attention again," influencer Miles Deutscher chimed in. The initial enthusiasm was tempered by the understanding that the decision was limited in its scope and the SEC has options for its next steps. Grayscale released a statement in which Chief Legal Officer Craig Salm said, "We appreciate that the DC Circuit's opinion acknowledged that this case presented a straightforward question about equal treatment under the law. This more sober evaluation gained traction as analysts considered the SEC's resourcefulness further, and Gary Gensler and team are discussing how this can be made into a political win. Will Gensler graciously accept defeat or talk about how these three judges got it wrong?" Crypto lawyer John Deaton asked. Blockchain Association Chief Policy Officer Jake Chavinsky acknowledged the possibility that the SEC would accept defeat, calling the strategy a face-saving narrative and the right move after a huge embarrassment. Others were less optimistic. "So far, every time they lose in court, they just shamelessly say the judge got it wrong and pursue more shenanigans," Delphi Labs General Counsel Gabriel Shapiro said. Shenanigans can be costly. For many companies, fighting back is incredibly expensive. You may win, but you'll be bankrupt when you do. Or you're a financial conglomerate where the SEC can F up the rest of your business. In the meantime, gangster behavior. This is Zero Knowledge Consulting Managing Partner Austin Campbell said. Crypto lawyer Jeremy Hogan reminded the community to be aware of what it prays for. "Everyone welcomes big money to the table, for better or worse," he said of the Grayscale win. So this is no doubt, there is no question that this is definitely positive for crypto, and it's not just about the Bitcoin ETF. I mean, that is good anyway because it gives more accessibility to sort of low risk tolerant players like pension funds. They don't want a lot of risk, and so they actually they can't actually get involved in anything risky, so they can't get involved in crypto. It's just a big no-no, even if they wanted to. And so, but with an ETF that has exposure to Bitcoin, that's because obviously the ETF has been regulated and they've got permission from the SEC to go ahead with an ETF, a pension fund could, for example, get involved in that. And so that gives exposure to Bitcoin, and they would obviously benefit from any price rise in Bitcoin, but also suffer any losses if it went down as well. So it would still be a risk, but it just means that it's just more accessible basically through an ETF, through a spot ETF. So there's a very important distinction between a spot ETF and futures ETF. But when I first heard this, I was really happy because it actually kind of knocks the SEC down a peg. They've really been after crypto ever since, well, properly since Ripple and Ripple Labs and with the whole XRP thing going on, and that's been going on 2 or 3 years now, and we're still not to the end of it. And since then, they've gone after Coinbase and others, and it's just we feel like we're being hammered by them, you know, and so it's really good to get a judge's decision that goes against them. And it may make them, this is what I personally, why I was so happy, was that it's going to really make them think twice now about attacking us in the future. They're going to think, can we really afford to be embarrassed again about, you know, if a judge decides to go against us? It's just going to make them second guess and rethink before they actually pursue or try to chase anybody down. And normally with, you know, the usual regulation over securities, the SEC would be, it's, you know, it's a great thing that they go after fraudulent companies and people that want to scam others out of money. But in this instance, crypto just seems to be tarnished with the whole brush, you know, as if everything is fraudulent and that nobody wants to obey the law. And in reality, as we've said many times on this channel, we don't have the regulation. So Gary Gensler's always been saying, you know, come in and talk to us, you know, we'll have a conversation about how you can set up your crypto business and all this. In reality, they end up getting cold-shouldered, just like Brian Armstrong of Coinbase said, and he's tried to speak to them and they don't want to speak, so they end up launching the product anyway and then getting sued by the SEC. And so now they've got to fight, which could have all been done through diplomatic routes beforehand, if the SEC had been transparent and, you know, had conversations in good faith. So really good news good news for Grayscale, but also really good news for the community, as I said, will make the SEC. I'm sure they'll think twice before they go after anybody in future because of this. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I release a new video every single day, so like, subscribe and click on the notifications bell so that I can keep you fully updated, and I shall see you all tomorrow.